Welcome back on the AM show, and as promised, we get into many matters of national scope. And we'll be starting from Parliament. Well, joining us for a conversation on these matters we're going to be discussing, we have the Member of Parliament, the legislator for the Ningo-Prampram constituency, Sam George, joining us in the studio. A very good morning to you.
Morning, Ben.
You have a rather solemn look this morning. What is going on? Is it because of the situation in your constituency?
Yeah, I'm pretty worried about the. And let me say good morning to our viewers. The flooding situation this morning. Just as I walked into the studio, NADMO called that they've arrived in the constituency with some relief material that we asked for 2 nights ago. When after I left the constituency, spoke with the NADMO DG, and he promised to put some relief together. We're also trying to raise some relief, and so once I'm done here, I'm racing straight to the constituency for us to see how we can do disbursement. Lives have been affected adversely, and for me, it's really worrying. It's worrying that this is a largely man-made disaster, because it's simply the intransigence of citizens and the inefficiencies of the government bureaucracy that has created this mess.
So when you say the intransigence of the citizens and then the bureaucracy of government, what exactly do you mean?
People have built in waterways. Right. I mean, the videos are there. Your reporters were there with me. We rescued a woman and her 3 kids, the youngest of them not even a year old. They'd been 48 hours stuck in the house without water or food. The house is in the middle of a stream. And whilst the stream was, we had to get guys to hold themselves because of the currents, the strength of the currents in the stream. Yes, because if one person had tried to go through, it could have taken him away. So we had 3 guys chain themselves and walk through the water to get to the house. The water was above their shoulder. That's how deep the water was.
Wow.
Yes. And in front of that house, in the water, that's the footage that your media house is showing. There's a sign behind the gentleman there. It says for sale, land for sale.
So that
is the land for sale thing. How can anybody be selling this? This is a stream. That's the house we rescued a woman from. So even in this, they are selling the land. They are selling the stream. I had to give money to the assemblyman to go and break open and I can share that video with you. You know, someone has constructed a road to block this stream from entering the sea, because this stream feeds into the Lalue Lagoon, which feeds into the ocean. He's built a hotel which he calls an ocean front, and he realizes that the easiest path to his place is to construct a road in through the estuary. So he's actually built a road and blocked the entire.
How long have you been aware of that development?
I was told about it 2 days ago, and yesterday we broke it up. I gave money, asked the police to provide security, got an excavator, and went and broke it up, and now the water is receding. Because that's why the water.
You mean the hotel or whatever?
No, the road. The road he did, because he basically built a road through the lagoon, blocked the whole lagoon, so the water couldn't enter the sea. And that's part of the reason why this flooding happened. That's part of the reason. And my attention was drawn to it 2 days ago while I was on the field, because I was asking why the water is not moving into the sea. So we traced and got there and saw that this is what an individual had done.
Do you know how long this edifice has been up?
No, I don't. I mean, that's the duty of the assembly. They gave a permit for that building to be built. The assembly is responsible for giving permits. The assembly is responsible for all of those. No, Ningo-Prampram District Assembly. The Ningo-Prampram District Assembly. You get it? Everybody calls the MP and says the MP is responsible, but the MP doesn't give permits. Nobody comes to me to ask me for building permits. I don't approve any permits.
So with these developments, what then? I mean, you say you're going to be meeting.
And then when I spoke about government bureaucracy, the failure of the assembly, those were the gentlemen we asked to go through the water, to go rescue the family. The failure of government to put its eye on the ball. And when I say government, I'm talking about local authority, the district assembly, because the stream that flows through has a natural, it's got natural reservoirs. Right. in the irrigation project, the Dawhenya irrigation farm. It's got so that when the stream gets full because of the runoff water from the Shire Hills, What you then have is it overflows into those reservoirs and then sips gradually into town. The former scheme manager of the irrigation dam sold the land to foreigners. And they filled it up. They filled it up with laterite. So right now there is no reservoir for the stream.
Yeah.
So the whole thing
so it
just goes straight into the town, and that's what's created this flooding. I mean,
these are problems that we see in different parts of even Tema now, because the plan, we're not sticking to the plan. I read something from someone only yesterday who was saying that even cantonments, if we are not careful, it will become a slum in 10 years' time because of the density in population. It was never meant to be that, but now people are buying up the land, putting up skyscrapers, and the human volumes there are just getting out of hand. Now, what is the way forward as far as this is concerned? We've seen the Akosombo Dam spillage. You spoke about that, but here it is in your own constituency. What is the way forward?
First and foremost, we need to halt whatever sale has been done in the irrigation dam. Whoever sold that land must be arrested.
Are you going to get to the bottom of that?
Absolutely. I've spoken to Dawhenya about it. He's the Minister for Agric. He has oversight over the irrigation project. I spoke to him the same day and drew his attention to it. Yesterday I spoke to the...
What did he tell you?
He tells me he's going to find out who the former scheme manager is and then investigate. Yesterday I spoke to Henry Korte, the regional minister, because he has oversight over Greater Accra. People forget that Ningo-Prampram is part of Greater Accra. Accra doesn't end in Tema. And I spoke to him. He says he's going to come and visit the site as well and find out who that is. We must find out who sold that land. The former scheme manager must answer questions on what authority did he sell the land. The foreigners who bought that land and whether there are locals involved as well must all be arrested and surcharged to dig up whatever they have done there and restore the buffer or reservoir of the stream. Now the assembly also has to work. Buildings sitting in waterways must go. You cannot continue a cycle where people build in waterways and then we come back and have this crisis.
So at this point, we must bite the bullet and break it down. Let it serve as an example.
To save majority of the people. Because many of the people who've been affected have not built in waterways. That's the dam. That's the way. You see, it's got a natural spill gate. So once the water levels get to that height, you can't control it. It's not something you can close or open. But it is what it is.
That is a sad development, and of course, lots of property will be affected. Do you have any idea yet what the level of damage is?
Over 600 people have been affected. Homes devastated. I mean, food is gone because water gets into your house, enters your kitchen. I mean, property is gone. People send me videos. There's an officer at 37 who's put all his life savings into building a house there. His house is not on a waterway, but there are videos of his TV and sofa and mattresses floating in his house because it's full of water. I mean, people's lives and savings have just been destroyed.
Let's stay in your constituency, because the last time, I believe it was the last time you came here, we spoke about the Dawhenya Bridge.
Yes.
What's the update on that?
Well, I spoke to the minister, I think...
the road minister?
The roads minister, the week after this. I showed him the video again. And he said, oh, Sam, they've still not done this thing. I said, well, minister, it's not been done. He says, okay, remind me, call me and remind me the following Monday. I did. He said, Sam, they will come. They still haven't gone.
But sometimes, do you think you could also mass up some people to do a few things? Yesterday, I found it curious when, what's his full name? Manche. He's on the MPP end. He's hoping to become the constituency representative the parliamentary candidate for the MPP and contest you. And he made mention of another such project, and he was massing up people, I think he said yesterday or something, to go there and do something about it. Why don't you do something like that?
When a kid thinks that he can do what his father hasn't done, because his father, he thinks his father is incompetent, he'll go there and get his bones shattered and broken. You see, and yesterday I got several calls about the rantings and effusions that were made here. I thought that you should have stopped him. When you sent me the link, I thought you should have just stopped him midway, because some of the things he said are unbecoming of this platform. But that said, let's be very clear.
If you say I should have stopped it, I did, but he did say what he felt was...
you can't say that everybody can come here and say what they feel.
No. I mean, that's not what I'm saying.
At a certain point in time, I thought he should have been cut off because, he made unsubstantiated claims, for example, about individuals who he's alleging. You should have asked him to name names. You can't just sprout things. No, because you either make him retract or you make him substantiate his claim, and I'll come to that. But on the issue of the bridge, let's be clear. There's a contractor on that road. Mm-hmm. It's a government road. You can't, as an individual, as a private individual, wake up and say you are going to do anything. You should go there. He'll get arrested. The state will arrest him because there is a contractor on that site. His name is Simain Ghana. So what he doesn't know... I don't think
that was a specific bridge.
That's the bridge. That's what I watched the video. It's the Dawhenya bridge. It's the Dawhenya bridge. Yes. Right. You can't go onto a road that has a contractor. That's a government road, and say as an individual you're going to do your own thing on it. That I know. That's the law. So someone who seeks to become a lawmaker doesn't even know the law and is sitting on national TV and saying he's going to break the law with impunity. It tells you how infantile his thinking and understanding of the job he seeks to do is. But look,
don't you think that's a bit of a low blow to...
Low blow. You allowed that guy come and sit here and say all kinds of things. And you see, I've sent the tape to my lawyers and I've asked and sent it to them and asked them to advise on legal action. Because you see, let me state emphatically here, there's nobody in Ningo-Prampram who doesn't know this. I don't have campaign managers. I have never had a campaign manager, not in 2015 when I contested E.T. Mensah, not in 2016 when I contested Sylvester Tete, not in 2019 when I contested Michael Tete, not in 2020 when I had contested Alex Mate, and not in 2023 when I contested. I run my campaign myself. I am my own campaign manager. I am my own head of security. So if anybody comes to sit anywhere and says that Sam George had a campaign manager, first and foremost, that person is a liar. A dishonest person, and someone who cannot bear the title honorable because they have no honor around them. And for you to suggest...
But it's the people in the end, if he gets the nod from his party, it's the people of the constituency who would...
There are three people contesting in that election. Market, he'll come last. He'll come third of the three. Look, this is an individual who...
Mancha will come last.
I'm telling you, Market here.
So if he gets the nod to go into that contest with you, Chief, how do you feel about that? He's
attacking Sam George because he thinks that will give him some kind of legitimacy within the NPP. He wants attention. Let me tell you something. The NPP in my constituency know him. In 2016, he was a polling station executive. He abandoned the NPP. He abandoned Sylvester Tete, who was their candidate, and said he won't campaign. When I campaigned against Sylvester Tete, he's part of the reason why I beat the NPP in 2016 with 10,000 votes, because he ran away from his job in New Ningo. I had 82% of the votes in his polling station. He abandoned his polling station. Such a character should not be made to lead any political party. He's gone around and he's gone to get some one or two people in the NPP who think that they can finance, and I know the people. The lady who is financing him, I know her. I'm saying good morning to her.
Financing whom is not a problem. Look, you have financiers, don't you?
It is my constituency.
You have people who finance it, right?
And I'm saying to you, I'm saying good morning to her. She knows me, I know her.
Right.
And I'm saying to her that she's throwing her money down the drain. If she knows something, she should take her money and take it to Newtown and go and do salaka with it. There'll be more value to it. That guy is coming last.
I see. You've made the projections already.
I'm telling you. When I told people Kennedy Japan win in my constituency during their primaries, I declared the results.
I see. So you're basically saying, in the past he has said that you're a disaster. I think we've had that conversation before. And he says, listen, when you took on E.T. Mensah was here and you were there and you beat him. And he feels he's going to win the primary, and that while you may feel you are here, he can cut you down to size. What do you think?
First and foremost, like I said to you, this is someone who's run away from the constituency since 2016. Then he resurfaces 3-4 months ago and claims that he's coming to... He doesn't understand what the dynamics of the constituency are. Sam George's strength is not Sam George. And that's what people have failed to understand. That's why, look, almost every election I have gone into, the media, including Joy FM, have called it against me. But I always deliver. You know why? Because my victory does not lie in me or my strength. It lies in the people that God has given to me. I have the gift of men. It's a gift from God. You can't fight it. Look, you can hate a man. You can fight a man, but you can't fight the grace upon his head. And so what these people are doing is fighting the grace upon me. When my time is right, Ben, I would live with dignity and glory. I would leave a legacy. When my time is right, I won't lose an election in Ningo-Prampram. Mark it anywhere.
When your time is right.
When my time is right,
your predecessor,
I would say thank you.
E.T. Mensah was there for a long time, and apparently he didn't discover his time. You had to come and
you see, that is the more reason why. That is the more reason why I'm telling you and saying this on national TV, that when my time is right, I would not wait to be defeated in an election. I would live in glory and dignity.
Are you going to be
I would say thank you.
I
would say thank you to the people for the opportunity to serve them and for the love they have shown to me. So when Manche Akwete or whoever he calls himself or whatever he calls himself says that
he has a name.
Whatever he calls himself.
His name.
Whatever he calls himself. Says that he's coming to what. It is not me. He's going to fight the people. The people are the ones who choose kings. God enthrones kings through the people. The people decide who they want to lead them. He says he is coming on his own strength. I come on the strength of the people.
All right.
So and the grace of God.
Let me just get this.
I leave it. He should go and fight them. People are waiting for him. But I said, mark it anywhere. Right. He will come third. There are three people. There are two guys and a lady. He will come third.
Okay. All right. That is your projection. Let me just make mention of this. So to clarify, we have nothing against anybody in the LGBTQ community. Even the anti-gay bill has that. But he makes mention, just to clarify, he says your campaign manager. You say you've not had campaign manager.
I don't have a campaign manager.
In the past.
That's why I was saying
in
you
the
should
past
have asked
campaign,
him to mention who
in the
he's
past
referring
campaign,
to.
I felt that would only, bring up issues, stir the hornet's nest further. But he says that person was in the LGBTQ family. And you are saying you didn't have a campaign manager. Have you ever had anyone as a member of your campaign who was in that group?
Absolutely not. And look.
Because he says then you're being hypocritical with this anti-gay bill and everything.
Ben, listen. Go and take the tapes of the interview my opponent, Michael Kwete Tete, in the last NDC primaries in May this year. His interview sometime in April after we had filed our nominations. The day we went to file, we did a balloting. He granted an interview. Joy FM has that interview. Go through your archives. He made the very same allegation against me. So this allegation is not a new allegation. The NDC as a political party, summoned him and myself and asked him to provide proof of his claim. He apologized and retracted. Michael Kwete Tete, because the party asked him, provide evidence of what you are saying or we'll disqualify you. He had to go on his knees and beg and apologize and retract. So at this said meeting. Yes. And the party issued a statement cautioning candidates to be very careful of denigrating remarks and that they would not countenance it anymore. I'm saying that video is there. That video is there. So this is not the first time. Look, this is simply because people think my fight against this sin, this obnoxious perversion, they think that it's giving me some credit. And so for them, they think that the only way to go about it, the political strategy to go about it is to attack it. Ben, do you think that if I, Sam George, had any such connections with a person of that community, I'll be able to go and sit at the United Nations and tell them the truth the way I did, and nobody will be able to clap back at me by now? The LGBTQ community, as loud as they are, would not have tried to expose me. Okay, so that brings me to another end of the conversation very quickly. The American ambassador, Virginia Palmer, in recent times, she's spoken about how if we push this, it could make it difficult for her to bring business to Ghana. You also had your say on that. I've forgotten, was it at the UN General Assembly or at the COP? I spoke at the UN. It was at the UN, a meeting at the UN. Where do you think that is taking us? Already, we're heavily dependent on the IMF currently for the $3 billion
The latest tranche of 600 million we've not got yet. Do you agree with her? Don't you agree with her?
Is the IMF a pro-LGBTQ organization?
I do not know. But what I do know is that money from economic juggernauts in the economic South, like the United States, are in there. That's her country.
Listen, in the United States, there are several, even leading presidential candidates in their upcoming election are speaking against LGBTQ. They're against it. So it is not correct to suggest that the American country or the American people are united.
I have not suggested that. There are states that have their own.
Listen, let me make my point. Because she seems to suggest, Virginia Palmer seems to suggest that the US's official position as a country is that LGBTQ or nothing. And I'm saying to her that that is incorrect. In her own country, there are massive movements against LGBTQ. There are states that have laws against LGBTQ in her country.
Which is true, but she is the official representative of the US in the country.
And I'm saying to you that her colleague is in Qatar. Her colleague is in Saudi Arabia, and they are still attracting American business there. If she is incapable of doing her job, she should do the honorable thing and resign and go and let them bring somebody who can do business. But let me ask you a question.
But her state hasn't said that she's not fulfilling her responsibilities.
She's the one saying she would be unable to attract investment, American investment. Let me tell you something. They say, and I did that with Evans, the Americans paint a picture that there's a trade surplus on the Ghanaian side. If you look at trade, what America buys from Ghana vis-a-vis what we import from there. But who are the people who are exporting from Ghana to America? Are they Ghanaians? The biggest chunk is cocoa and unfinished crude product. Is it a Ghanaian company that is selling the unfinished crude product? It's not an American company. Listen, if American businesses in Ghana here, the American businesses that are selling our cocoa, trading our cocoa, American businesses that are trading our crude, think that their whole business model is tailored on LGBTQ values, they should leave. Other companies will come and buy those things.
But you've also heard.
Listen, let's be clear.
Even our president has made it clear.
Our president is being a coward.
Simple.
Our president is being a coward on this matter.
How has he been a coward?
When the vice president of the US came to stand by him and asked him about this bill, what did he say? He knows nothing about the bill, and is a private citizen, member of Parliament.
The fact that it had gone through a series of reviews and all of that, which was the case, wasn't it?
No, but he disowned it. Said he doesn't know anything about it. It's a private number. That is cowardice. When his colleague,
but was it not emerged from Parliament?
Listen,
did it not emerge from Parliament? It didn't emerge from him.
When the British Prime Minister met his predecessor, may his soul rest in peace, Professor John Evans Atta Mills, and put it to him, Evans Atta Mills told him, "Take your money. We will take our culture and our pride." That is the Ghanaian president. When they met Uhuru, when Barack Obama met Uhuru and tried to poach that nonsense to him, what did he say? We are Kenyan people, we are proud people, we have our culture. Listen, let us be clear. And let me expose this hypocrisy. The World Bank, the IMF, if you go on their websites, they say they are inclusive and diversity oriented. I haven't said so. Me, I am heterosexual oriented. But they claim that they are inclusive and they are diversity oriented. Now, go to a dictionary and find out what inclusive means. It means it accepts all shades of opinions.
Including LGBT.
All shades. So I would not begrudge them if they support LGBTQ causes. But they cannot stop me from holding my own view because they claim to be inclusive. They claim to be diverse. So diversity means they accept both heterosexual and homosexual views. So why would you punish me? Except those institutions want to come out and say that they are now pro-LGBTQ. And listen, why? The IMF, the money they are giving to us, is it for free? Is it not a loan? Are we not going to pay back with interest? I mean, come on.
So you feel, for example, some of the stances adopted against, I believe it's Uganda, in terms of not giving them further...
Has Uganda's economy crashed? Is their currency not doing better than the Ghanaian cedi?
Yeah, but do you think...
So where is it? Where has it gone to?
Do you think then that is wrong in terms of the international committee?
Absolutely. And let me be clear with you. You see, Ghana's ranking and standing globally is not the same as Uganda. Let me ask you, why is it that the American ambassador in Nigeria It's not Nigeria passed an anti-same-sex marriage bill in 2015. 2015, 8 years ago. Why have they not dared to do that to Nigeria? Because the Nigerians have told them. The Nigerian president at the time made it clear. Good luck, Jonathan. If you take any action against us, we will reciprocate. We will ban your airlines. We will drive your businesses out. That is a country that knows its might and pride. And stands by it. Listen, bullies are afraid when they are stood up to. And that is why it was shocking and painful to see President Akufo-Addo behave the way he did. Pure cowardice. We've seen Professor Mills say this.
The position of everybody. Some people are more pacific, diplomatic than others.
There is no diplomacy. All our presidents have done this. President Rawlings was clear on it. President Kufuor was clear on it. Professor Mills was clear on it. John Mahama has been clear on it. Akufo-Addo is the only one.
The approach of everybody is different, and he has said that. Listen, it's based on.
He says it's bound to happen. His only emphatic statement on this matter has been it's bound to happen.
It's based on what the people want at any given time.
And what do the people want?
Did he not say that?
Listen, and what do the people want? Does he hold power for himself or in trust for the people? If he really believes that it is what the people want, when the CDD did its own survey, 93% of Ghanaians are in support of the bill. 93%. So if 93% support something, why can the president who claims he represents those people not stand for their position?
The buck only stops with him when this goes through Parliament and gets on his table and he has to append a signal.
But you don't give the
That signal. Is where the buck stops with him.
You don't give the signal to foreign interest that for you, this is not something you're interested in. Again, on the back of the fact that his most emphatic statement he's made on this matter has been that it's bound to happen when there's a strong movement for it. It is on the back of that statement you saw the opening of an anti-LGBTQ office. What is this?
But admittedly, you just quoted him saying that it is bound to happen if there is some movement for it. Right now, there seems to be a movement. Per the CDD, the Afrobarometer...
7% movement?
Against... No, you're not getting me. A movement against it. If it gets to that point where there is a movement for it, which is what he's referencing, how can you hold him? He says if there is a movement
have you got in there? You've not dealt with your present problems, and you are thinking of future problems.
Let's stay in Parliament. I just want to do this briefly, a few other issues. Yesterday, I don't know whether it's the first time, you can clarify for me, that a majority side has walked out on its own.
No. It's the second time in 2 years, in 3 years. They did it in 2021.
Right.
In 2021, they walked out on their 2022 budget. And now in 2023, so in 2 years, they've walked out twice.
I want you to explain to the good people of Ghana, what are the processes? As far as I know, I do know that when there's a voice vote, there could be a request for a head count. Okay. But did the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin, did he err by accepting the voice vote and then this entire bit about a non-formal call for a head count? What do you make of the entire...
So the processes of Parliament are clear, and Parliament is a house of procedure. You cannot call for a head count or division when you have not had a vote taken, a voice vote taken. So it is when the voice vote is taken and the Speaker makes a determination and you disagree with the Speaker's determination, that you challenge the Speaker's determination by calling for a head count of voice votes. Now listen, the whole drama in Parliament yesterday was because the Speaker did something quite nationalistic and patriotic. Normally what you have in Parliament is when they say, let's have a head count, the clerks at table just go around and claim to count people who are standing. I'm saying it and telling you here and now. There have been times those things have been manipulated in Parliament.
Manipulated by whom? The clerks?
By whoever, whether it is the clerks or whether it is the majority.
No, but they do the counting. So if you're saying
yes, and I'm saying that they have declared.
By suggesting the clerks have.
I am saying that they have declared results that are false, that are manipulated and cooked. And that is why, because you see, what happens is you have the majority. Ministers of state. Ministers of state have agency on the floor. They are allowed to sit in the chamber, but they're not allowed to vote.
Exactly.
But when it comes to head counts, then you have them stand with them, and then they count. So whether it is intentional or accidental, it is up to them to
suggesting that sometimes ministers who are not members of parliament.
Yes, have taken part in the head counted. Yes. In fact, even imposters have been brought into parliament. In 2021 or 2022, when this matter happened, Adwasafu was not in the country. They brought an imposter. I am stating...
going back to that issue. That's very thorny issue.
It categorically. And I'm daring them to take me on.
Saying that person that was
not Adwasafu.
Yes, some videos and photos went viral.
It was not
Adwasafu. Member of Parliament.
It was not Adwasafu.
Do you have evidence to that?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
What is your evidence?
I'm saying that it was not her. I was in the chamber.
I'm saying, what is your evidence?
I was in the chamber. I saw the person.
You saw the person?
Yes. It was not her.
It's not possible for someone to... I mean, she had been out of town for a bit.
Why?
People put on weight. People change hairstyles.
Chief, I say that, look, I'm daring them. If they say I'm lying, they should take me to privileges committee. I'm daring them. And then we would expose the whole thing. And then we would see the kinds of things that go on. And that's why yesterday what the speaker said was the head count will not just be a regular count like that. They will mention your name.
Individually.
Stand. Let us be sure you are the one. Then we'll count you. What were they afraid of? Ask yourself, what were they afraid of? They didn't walk out until the speaker said, no, I want to identify everybody in the head count.
What do you think they were afraid of? Since you're bringing it up.
Because they didn't have the numbers and they had brought in imposters to fill in the numbers. And that's why they ran out. Look, we can't continue to run.
Did you identify any of these imposters?
Oh, yesterday the transport minister was on the floor of the house. He was on the floor of the house. He's not a member of parliament. Esiama is not a member of parliament.
But did you see him?
He was on the floor of the house.
Yes, but the voice vote, did you see him saying aye or something of the sort?
I mean,
did you hear
I won't be in a position to determine the voices of 130
maybe you saw him, maybe you were watching him and he said aye and you heard it.
What I didn't see, I won't say. What I see is what I see. I say I saw him on the floor. I'm not saying that I saw him take part in a voice vote. But I'm saying that people like that were in the chamber. And you can see, that is the shock. They walked out without even consulting the finance minister. So the finance minister and his deputy were left standing in the chamber.
Do you think there's a way around this, legally speaking, that moving forward we can get this to work so that we don't have such incidents where ministers, who are of course non-members of parliament, come and, so to speak, infiltrate, add to the numbers and get counted when in fact they are not members of parliament and ought not to get counted? What can we do?
Well,
standing orders?
Look, it became a problem the last time. The standing orders are clear. That they must vacate, anybody who is not a member of parliament, we are going to have such rules, must vacate the halls. The last time, if you remember, I think it was last year, the speaker asked the finance minister to leave the chamber. It became an issue. The speaker asked the finance minister to leave the chamber because we're going to have a vote. He's not a member of parliament. The majority got angry. They got angry and nearly walked out of parliament. We had to suspend sitting. I mean, what kind of reckless behavior is this? They're behaving like kids who...
You're talking about your fellow members.
You
want to add some decorum.
Oh, chief. I will any bobo. Upapa to ball amount. And the Abba Park. And your selection, we see me the ball coffee. And because what bon, yen select, we see Obian Bobo on Bium.
So as it stands now, has the budget been approved or not? Your side says it's not been approved, but the MPP also says once the speaker had gone with the voice vote and had declared that it had been passed, that is it.
There is a challenge to that. And so that is where we will continue from. Once there's a challenge to it, you can't proceed and say the thing has been passed. It's not been passed. It's been held in abeyance. We are hearing, and I'm picking intelligence, that the MPP is trying to boycott parliament today. They should boycott.
The MPP?
Yes. Yes. Because they don't have the numbers. They're trying to boycott parliament. We are waiting for them. The sitting will start very soon. They should come into the chamber. Let's do business. They should end their November salary. How can you be running away from your own budget? Your own budget.
Are you going to be able to mass up the numbers today in parliament?
Oh, we are ready. We were ready yesterday. We are ready today. We'll be ready tomorrow.
In the national interest, and we've seen you do this before, are you going to let this budget with a few, remedies here and there pass, or are you going to go against it?
If they take on board our issues and work on them, we are not obstructionists. We are patriots. We are doing this for the Ghanaian people.
They will suggest otherwise, that you're doing this for your parochial interest.
Oh, what did you expect them to say? We are doing this for the Ghanaian people. We're doing this to protect you. Ben, the government.
You remind me of Katie Ahmed saying, you people are going against the imports bill and all of that. Why? You say you represent the good people of Ghana. Do they represent the bad people of Ghana? You remember Katie?
Yes, maybe. But Ben, it is unconscionable for me and your MP to sit in, and I take you as an associate constituent because I hear you've worked in the constituency before. So I represent your interest. To see this government saddle you with more taxes. More taxes. Yet this government is giving to their friends and cronies tax exemptions. Why should you pay more taxes? Why their friends and cronies, many of whom are foreigners, get tax exemptions?
Tax waivers.
Why?
All right. Let's just cap off the conversation. You have to go. I don't want to keep you far beyond your time. There's been a lot of talk about the 24-hour economy. Mm-hmm. There's also electrochem within your constituency.
No, it's in Sege, in the next constituency.
Yeah. So it's right outside of your...
Yes, just on the boundary of my constituency.
But what do you make? In recent times, there have been some overtures by electrochem as far as the local content in the salt mining is concerned. What would be your reaction to that? And final words on the 24-hour economy.
I don't understand the electrochem question. Overtures and...
There have been, I think, the concessions. There have been some overtures in terms of the local people to have more access, to do a few things more. I think, I don't know whether it's donations that have been made in recent times.
No,
but you see electrochem, extending.
I have the electrochem issue, but it's not my constituency. But it's my constituency. But my knowledge of it is simple: that electrochem must and should give access to the locals to run the community plants. And I'm aware that that is being done. I'm aware that in the last harvesting season, the community plants were developed for locals and they extracted on their own and sold. If we need to do more of that, if there are more communities that have to be brought on board, I encourage electrochem to do that. Okay, but you cannot deprive the locals of some access. But you cannot mine. I think some of the problems I'm hearing is about where some of the locals want to mine, which will compromise the entire operation of the entire salt mining, because I think that's where the intake is. If you can create community plans for you, and the whole community will benefit, not an individual, I'm all for it. Yeah. And so I think that is the way to go. Electrochem must ensure that they develop more community plans for the benefit of the locals in Ada. And we must have an end to this violence. The violence must stop.
And that was what I was about.
The violence must stop.
The last time another person loses.
Yeah, the violence must stop. These are my Dangwe brothers. They are losing their lives. It must stop. You get it? But it must be for the benefit of the community, not individuals. Okay, and I see traces of individual interest playing up here and there. The community plans must be developed for the benefit of the people. 24-hour economy. Chief.
And that's the final bit.
Chief, see, I always say that when you see the NPP go into hyperdrive and overdrive, in trying to poo-poo something or react to something, you know that you've hit their soft underbelly. Same way when I told you that Bawumia is a Christian, but Muslim by day, Christian by night. You see the way they all went into overdrive. It's the same way they've gone into overdrive against the 24-hour economy. My brother. The 24-hour economy. Now Bawumia says that there are chop bars that run 24 hours. I hear he has one in Wale Wale. I want to visit the north. You should show me his chop bar that operates 24 hours. Listen, the 24-hour economy is a game changer. The 24-hour economy is going to create jobs. And look, in my sector,
it's easier said than done.
It's not. I'll tell you why.
There's paper talk.
I'll tell you why. In areas like ICT, where I play, that space where I play, with Ghana's unique position, and making Ghana the next BPO and KPO destination, you can create 3 cycles of jobs, servicing 8 hours behind you, the Eastern Coast and Latin America, servicing Europe, which is 2 + 2 - 2 GMT, and then servicing the Far East, which is 8 hours ahead of you. So at the end of the day, when people talk and don't understand, and you see, it makes people run into gaps. I've heard Bawumia say that he's produced 70, he says that the Ghana card, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if you've seen that video, Ben. He says we've produced 70 million Ghana cards. Have you seen that video?
Which video is that?
Dr. Bawumia.
Right.
He says that we have issued 70 million Ghana cards.
Okay, that I haven't seen.
I'll share it with you. I can show it to you right now. I can give it to you to play on air. He says, and so you should ask yourself, you're forcing them to play nonsense. What is our population in Ghana? 32 million, 33 million. That is all Ghanaians. So Ghana card is not given to children below the age of 5, or is it even 15? At this point in time, under 15s are not giving Ghana card.
They're now starting to give.
Yes. So and not all Ghanaians have got it. But Bawumia says every Ghanaian has 2 Ghana cards. Except, in reality, they have printed 70 million Ghana cards and used that and printed over 40 million ghost Ghana cards that they intend to use for electoral malpractice. That is why they've gotten the electoral commission. That's why they've gotten the electoral commission to be talking about the Ghana card.
You don't have evidence.
I am not the one saying it. Your vice president is the one who says he printed 70 million Ghana cards. We must begin to ask Bawumia who printed those cards, who owned those 70 million Ghana cards. Because between me and you, the NIA came to Parliament. Under oath, Kenatefa told us he had printed just about 18 million cards. And distributed,
and of course, we know there are a number of Ghanaians who don't even have the Ghana card.
Distributed just 14 million. And there are millions of Ghanaians who don't have the card. Right. Yet Bawumia says he's printed 70 million. We must begin to investigate our vice president. He must establish where they printed those cards, who are the owners of those cards.
You don't think it could have been a slip of tongue?
Oh, and his office has not issued a rejoinder to correct it.
So just quickly on a point you made, you do realize that even our workforce, in terms of efficiency, right? We have a workforce that we go to the ministries, go to some agencies. You would see people go sit there, practically do nothing.
Yes.
If this is replicated, you could have 3 streams and still have nothing much to show.
That's the befuddling of the issues. We're not saying all sectors are going to run 24 hours.
That I know.
There is no country where all sectors run 24 hours.
Running.
Yes, the ministries are not one of the sectors that are supposed to run 24 hours.
I'm just using them as an example.
Yes, so, well, it's a bad example because they are not one of the sectors we are looking to run 24 hours.
There are Ghanaians in there. They are Ghanaian workers.
I appreciate it. If you want us to talk about efficiency in the public service, we can. But in light of the 24-hour economy, the ministries are not part of the agencies we're looking or angles we're looking. I agree with you. We need to see a better efficiency in our public service. I agree with you. And that's part of the reason why we'll be looking to digitize the operational flow in the public service to ensure that everything is digitalized. You see, and we'll get to that place next year. Bawumia calls himself the digitization kingpin. We don't have a problem with it. Digitization is the first step. That's KG. The tertiary step is digitalization. And that's what John Mahama is bringing on board. Because digitization is just taking analog things and making them digital, converting them to digital. But then making efficient use of digital channels for the betterment of the people is digitalization. So Bawumia can continue to call himself a digitization king. We're bringing digitalization. It's like 2G and 5G. Completely different.
Sam George, thank you very much for joining the conversation. We're going to be moving on to talk about teacher unions and their request to the Ghana Education Service to reconsider the reopening date for fresh students entering senior high school. But the conversation we just had with the Member of Parliament for Ningo-Prampram, Sam George, you're heading to your constituency now.
Yeah,
right?
We need to go and distribute I've been informed that they've arrived so that we can do some distribution this morning. Finish that and race back to Parliament to vote against the budget in its current form.
All the best with that. We'll be right back on the AM Show.